Congressional Record published Friday, June 13, 2025. On Thursday, June 12, 2025, the House of Representatives convened at 10 a.m. with Representative Ralph Norman, a Republican from South Carolina, serving as Speaker pro tempore. The session opened with a prayer by Reverend Paul Shaughnessy from Massachusetts. The House recognized June 19th as Juneteenth, now a federal holiday. Representative Terry Sewell, a Democrat from Alabama, spoke about the historical significance of Juneteenth and shared plans for celebrations in her district, including events organized by the NAACP and Major League Baseball's East-West Classic game, honoring the Negro Leagues. Representative Glenn Thompson, a Republican from Pennsylvania and chairman of the House Agriculture Committee, marked National Dairy Month by honoring dairy farmers in Pennsylvania. He highlighted the state's prominence in dairy farming and its economic impact. The House debated the dairy industry further, noting support for legislation such as the One Big Beautiful Bill Act and the Whole Milk for Healthy Kids Act. The latter aims to return whole and reduced fat milk to school cafeterias, with bipartisan support and endorsements from health officials. Representative Stacey Plaskett of the U.S. Virgin Islands celebrated Caribbean American Heritage Month and addressed challenges facing rural hospitals in her district. She also honored women veterans from the Virgin Islands on Women Veterans Day. Tributes were paid to community leaders including Don Gillespie of South Carolina, recognized for his law enforcement and pastoral service. The House discussed mental health parity laws, with Representative Paul Tonko of New York sharing a personal story illustrating gaps in mental health coverage. He urged stronger enforcement of parity laws to ensure equitable access to care. Representative John Rose, a Republican from Tennessee, honored the late Daniel Clyde Wheeler and Joe Moore for their contributions to agriculture and community service. Representative Suzanne Bonamici, a Democrat from Oregon, addressed the growing wildfire crisis and criticized funding cuts to citizenship education programs. Concerns were raised about the cancellation of grant programs supporting lawful permanent residence naturalization efforts. Representative Brad Stutzman, a Republican from Indiana, spoke on government spending and proposed legislation to increase accountability for emergency funds. Representative Ilhan Omar, a Democrat from Minnesota, condemned what she described as police state tactics under the Trump administration and called for respect of constitutional rights. The House also debated immigration enforcement actions and the conflict in Gaza. Representative Gerald Nadler, a Democrat from New York, called for a peaceful resolution and a two-state solution. Representative Richard Neal, a Democrat from Massachusetts, paid tribute to former Representative Charles B. Rangel. Representative John Larson, a Democrat from Connecticut, expressed concerns about Social Security data privacy and called for legislative protections. Michigan Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib condemned military deployments against protesters and highlighted Juneteenth's significance in her district. She advocated for reparations and voting rights protections. Several members delivered one-minute speeches honoring veterans, students, and community leaders. Father Paul Shaughnessy was recognized for his military chaplaincy service. The House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure authorized appropriations for multiple leases supporting U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs outpatient clinics across the country. These leases include facilities in Georgia, Illinois, Ohio, Pennsylvania, South Carolina, Tennessee, Texas, Florida, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Missouri, North Carolina, Virginia, Washington State, and Puerto Rico. Provisions include oversight requirements, purchase options at lease end, disclosure of foreign ownership interests, and annual reporting on space utilization. The House passed S. 331, the Halt All Lethal Trafficking of Fentanyl Act, amending the Controlled Substances Act regarding fentanyl-related substances. The vote was 321 in favor and 104 opposed. The House also passed H.R. 4, the Rescissions Act of 2025, rescinding approximately $9.4 billion in budget authority targeting foreign aid programs and public broadcasting funding. The vote was close at 214 to 212. The bill sparked sharp partisan debate, with Republicans emphasizing fiscal responsibility and Democrats warning of humanitarian impacts and threats to global leadership. Additionally, H.R. 2056 was passed requiring the District of Columbia to comply with federal immigration laws. The vote was 224 to 194. Several motions to recommit related to these bills were defeated. The House designated June 12 through June 22 as a district work period. Committee hearings addressed topics including defense appropriations, Department of Defense budget requests, college athletics legislation, and evaluation of the Defense Production Act. Members honored individuals for public service achievements in education, veterans affairs, community development, agriculture, and emergency management. The Senate was not in session on June 12. Thanks for listening. The full source material for this summary is in the description below.